approves the November 16th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so it's this time of the year where we ask on whether or not you guys want to extend those 4 hours of admin for around Christmas and New Year's. So in the past, it's always been like the day before a holiday or after the holiday on either Christmas and New Year's, so.
But it's only 1 4-hour
Only
increment.
1 4
They can
hours.
choose which holiday they do it.
That is correct. They can choose, and it's only one time. It's like a one-time deal.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Good.
How soon in advance do they have to say that which one they're choosing?
It is left to the departments on how they schedule it to make sure that they're staffing and that there's still available people to serve the public. So it's all done internally on
Okay.
how they do that. So.
All right.
Okay, the board, Tony, are you in favor?
Go ahead.
Okay. The Board of Commissioners agrees to authorize, but notwithstanding, all county offices will remain open during current business hours on the above dates. Oh, wait. I'm under discussion. Never mind. In accordance with Section 305.30 of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396, Part 9I, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval to authorize to hire Chelsea Scott for eligibility specialist, Portage County Jobs and Family Services, to be effective as of Monday, November 27th, 2023. The Board of Commissioners agrees that this hire is contingent upon the applicant passing the required pre-employment screenings.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The board agrees to, or I'll make a motion for the board to authorize to hire Lauren Anderson for eligibility specialist, Portage County Jobs and Family Services, to be effective as of Monday, November 27th, 2023. The Board of Commissioners agrees to this hire is contingent upon the applicant passing the required pre-employment screenings.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to agree to revise the job description of CDL Truck Driver 1 for solid waste and approve the respective job descriptions.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to agree to revise the job description of laborer for solid waste and approve the respective job descriptions.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to agree to revise the job description of mechanic 1 for solid waste and approve the respective job description.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to agree to authorize the creation of a job description of CDL truck driver number 2 for solid waste and approve the respective job description.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve anniversary probationary step increase for the following non-bargaining employees: Lindsay Davis, JFS; Hannah Motes, solid waste.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you. Good morning, Miss Shannon.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Project update.
Project update. Not as many as last time, but I have some.
Project update with Shannon.
News story, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
On page 1, the building lightning protection, I put that on here. They can't start until the spring due to winter, so they can't install until spring.
Dang winter.
I know, it's overrated. I don't have, like I said, I don't have as many as last time, but on page 3, I sent over.
Shannon, can we go back
Yeah.
to that? What exactly does that do for us?
If this building gets struck by lightning, it grabs
Oh,
it.
it's the
Like the house lead?
the 8th floor.
Yeah, it's all the way, it's on the very
That's
top,
right.
you'll see
Okay.
those antennas and they have to run it all the way
Roll it
down.
up.
I just forgot. Yeah.
You
okay.
can hold it.
It was 7.
No, why is
I'm
it
good.
running into my office stuff?
Choo choo or something.
Just asking.
On page 3, the Marks Towers, I just sent over the contract with them to be reviewed with the contractor, so it should be signed hopefully by next week. Yeah.
Cool.
I know. Page 4, the prosecutors, the windows. The east side of the building is almost complete, and they're still on schedule to be done by the end of November. He said they only had one small corner left, and then it started to rain. So, but it still should be. They'll have a nice day here and there, but They are gonna do one more test of the whole entire building too, just to be sure that no water gets in.
They take
They-
a fire hose or
They've
something?
been doing, they literally take like spray it in there. They've been doing it as they go, so.
Yeah, they better get every corner with that specialized scaffolding we paid for.
Oh my gosh, I know. I know. Okay, on page 5, Otis elevator, remember I talked on Thursday about that, they have to move that electrical panel in the elevator room.
Right.
The other one came in $3,500 more than what the current was, so we are going to go with the $4,750, and it'll come out of the maintenance budget.
Okay.
Okay, and then page 6, the roof replacement, the roof is on at the Riddle Block building. The replacement of the gutters will be at the end of December, weather permitting. They had to do so much work on those gutters. They have to bring in a lift it's all next week, so it's on the side. We had to block part of the road just to get the gutters and everything up there, but they have to reconstruct. It's so damaged when they're up there, so it's bad. But the roof is on.
The gutters or
Because
the,
they're like built in
Okay, really?
to the, because they're old, so they're built in, so they're having to
Those are copper.
reconstruct.
At least the roof
There's
is not
some.
on fire.
No, but it should be, I think it'll be, it's gonna look really nice when they're done. I will even go up there when it's all done.
I wanna go and bounce.
Right?
See if I bounce.
See if you bounce, so. And you know that the slate's not gonna be done till next year on the slate portion, so.
Okay.
That's it, that's all I have.
Thank you.
All right. The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Local Government Services Division of the Auditor of State of Ohio for conversion data for the preparation of financial statements for the Portage County for years ending in 2022 and 2023.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
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 Board of Commissioners approves the execution of quitclaim deed conveying the real property described herein to the City of Streetsboro.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
Board of Commissioners approves the execution of the quitclaim deed conveying the real property described herein to the City of Streetsboro and subject to the reservation of an easement for Portage County for sanitary sewer purposes.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement for wireless emergency notification system, also known as WENS, with the Portage County Emergency Management Agency and Inspiring Logistics.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to amend Resolution 23-0595 to set the request for the proposal date for foster and adoptive initial home assessment services for the Portage County Department of Jobs and Family Services.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement for a procurement card provider between the Portage County Auditor and Huntington Bank.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Portage County Jobs and Family Service and Northeast Ohio Consortium Council of Government.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Portage County Child Support Enforcement Agency and the Portage County Juvenile Court Magistrative Division.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners approves and executes the Courtview Justice Solutions, Inc., doing business as Equivalence Software License Agreement, Software Maintenance Agreement, Professional Service Agreement, Non-Disclosure Agreement, Hosting Services Agreement, and related documents concerning the J-Works Case Management System.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to award and enter into a contract with Matt Winters Excavating LLC for the CDBG BF-22-1CJ-1 Freedom Township School ADA Project 7276 State Route 303, Freedom Township.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Shannon.
Bye, Sharon. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Kelly Jo, you're up, lady. Ladies.
What's next?
So, taking the back road.
Look at you. You want to sit up here?
And Vanessa.
You want a cup of coffee or something? We can get you. Okay. Morning, ladies.
Good morning. So, I have one item today on the open agenda. We were approached, so we're so elated to have a guardianship board in Portage County, under, Diana, what's Diana's last name?
Green.
Diana Clark. They approached us several months ago and asked if we had any funds to contribute to their budget for 2024. And while we have limited funds in that space, because those dollars are spent on salaries of our social workers that work with adult protective services, we do recognize the value of the work that this guardianship board can do. And so we did look within our budget, and we believe we can contribute $34,000 in 2024 to their budget. So we work behind the scenes, and this is for review and discussion, so not making assumptions that you all would support it, that we would like to contribute. And if you have that support, then it would come behind the scenes with Shannon. But they have fast-tracked many of our adult protective service cases where they've assigned guardians for our elderly. She's just phenomenal to work with. We're part of the board meeting, and so they just have engaged us in ideas and support, and so.
Is this the one that Judge Smith is revitalizing and?
Yeah. And it's up and off the ground. I mean, they're doing a great job, but I do know that they wanted to enhance their staffing a bit, and so to do that, they needed an increase.
Yeah, because I hear it's sort of like CASA, it's like taken off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have the funds to do this?
We have the funds. We're sharing our funds with them because we believe the needs are that great and the services they provide are invaluable. So Sue, do you want to speak to that in the galley at all?
No, we did get an increase in our APS funds for the state fiscal year 24. So we do have the additional funds.
Okay. I'm on board.
Okay, so I will circle that back around
Yes.
in the formal capacity. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have questions. And then I'll take the first two resolutions and Vanessa will take the third. Every year we have to submit to the state of Ohio our memorandum of understanding relevant to abused and neglected children. So you all signed last year. I'm just bringing it before you before Shannon submits it to you for signature. There were two items that we modified per the state's recommendation. One is found on page 15 as it relates to child deaths and fatalities. We just enhanced the language and made it very visual as to what would happen. So if a child would die in our custody and it becomes known to our agency, we would have an emergency staffing, and we do this now. It's just we're putting the practice in writing, where a meeting would be scheduled with myself as the director, our administrators, Kaylin Kane, our legal team, our social service worker and supervisors, and we would come together and look at what we've done with the family, what's needed, and then the state would come in as well and have that oversight piece to it. It says when there's suspicion that the death is caused by abuse or neglect, we are governed by Ohio Revised Code, and we must have a child fatality review board, and we always engage law enforcement, and there's a formal board in Portage County. So it's just in writing so that everyone knows on the state level what we do in this.
Have we had the incidents
We
happen?
have. We actually had one as of yesterday.
Yeah. Were they in our custody?
No.
Okay.
But a history nonetheless, and so we'll look at what our history was, and
That person was good friends with my niece.
yeah, it happens more frequently than you know, and it's tragic.
The way that when you say those things, before you said that, is in your direct custody. That's my interpretation of what you said at the beginning. But what you just said is anybody that has
History as well.
history of being in our custody.
And the state will call on us even if we don't have an open case, or because they want to understand,
The why.
and were we involved at any point, not from a criticism standpoint, but just
Yep.
trying to put the pieces of
Okay,
the puzzle. Yeah, and the second section, I won't go into it, but it's related to withholding medically indicated treatment for disabled infants with life-threatening conditions. And really in that space, what I garner from it as far as language is it says the opinions about the infant's future of quality of life are not to bear on whether a treatment is judged medically necessary, right? So if we have a child that might have a prognosis of having brain damage, significant brain damage, we as child welfare, if we have custody, are not going to make medically necessary decisions based on what that child's life could look like 5 years out. We're gonna do it to sustain life now. And so the language has just been inserted to assert that that's the position we would take.
Do you have anybody on staff that is medically orientated that helps you with that decision?
We have an agreement with a nursing company that helps us with psychotropic medication, but we have absolute phenomenal relationships with our area hospitals, Akron Children's, Rainbow Babies, and then University. So we absolutely do call upon individuals in that space. But it's it's something that garners lots of discussion and subject matter experts around the table, and we do engage them. So I just wanted you to recognize the additional language, and this is a resolution. If you adopt it today, then you would get it behind the scenes, I think, as the final signatories after we have all the partners sign as well.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution to establish the Portage County Child Abuse and Neglect Memorandum of Understanding to set normal operating procedures for all concerned officials in Portage County in respect of their responsibilities under Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
And we were so very overzealous in JFS for our levy, and we're not ready to do it until November. So this is a resend for our March, and I present it to you to resend.
Okay. In anticipation of placing a combined replacement levy of 1.24 mils before the electorate on the date of November 2024 general election for the purpose of providing funds for children's services for the care, placement, and treatment of abused, neglected, and dependent children, the board previously adopted resolution of necessity and resolution to proceed concerning the March 2024 primary election are hereby rescinded.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes. You're up, ma'am.
And I just have a transfer from Fund 1414 to 1410 in the amount of $32,000 for the October 2023 payment.
All right. I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 1414 Child Support Administration to 1410 Public Assistance Fund.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank
Happy
you,
Thank you, ladies. Have a great
Yep,
Thanksgiving.
you as well.
Yeah.
Water
Call us.
Resources, Dan, good morning.
So I attached a couple of, I think I put a news article in there of the fire that occurred in Streetsboro at 1560 Evergreen Drive. So we got a call from the occupants there asking to stop billing. Traditionally, when we only provide sewer service, we can't because
Yeah.
there's no way to verify whether or not they're utilizing it or not. But in this instance, I think it warrants, the house is uninhabitable. I did
Yeah.
drive by it. The last time we had a fire, you mentioned something about that, and so I made sure I did my due diligence and
Yeah,
actually.
they had pictures of it. It was
Yeah.
pretty jarred.
So our recommendation would be to stop billing temporarily. I'll reach out to Streetsboro, the city of Streetsboro, and find out when this house does become inhabitable, and then we'll resume billing at that time, if the commissioners.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. All right, the board BOC accepts the recommendation of Water Resource Director Daniel Blakely and authorizes a temporary billing stop to be implemented for 1560 Evergreen Drive while the home is being restored in a habitable condition.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice and easy today.
Good.
There you go.
Happy
Thank you, and
Thanksgiving.
have a happy
Yeah,
Thanksgiving,
you too,
everybody.
Dan. Thanks.
Jackie, just in time. Woohoo.
Morning.
Well, hello, Jackie.
Hello. I have just one discussion item today, and this is about the Ohio State University Extension contribution this year. They said they had met with the board in October.
Yes.
Their recommendation is, so our support in 2023 was 120,000 for them. Their recommendations were either 140,000 or 160,000 for 2024, which are fairly significant increases. They said that the 140,000 is to keep them at status quo, but that's a 17% increase. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what.
What
your
would be
thoughts
your
are.
recommendation, if any, at this point in time with everything going on with the budget? Because
Well-
I will remind everyone, we gave them, in the last 2 years, we've given them on average 15,000 a year bumps.
Mhm.
So they've received 30,000 additional over 2 years, so.
So I would say either, I mean, we can keep it at the level that it is at 120,000, or, their expenses this year were 126,000, so, I mean, if we give them any bump, I would say maybe just for inflation to 125 or 130,000, but we could also leave it, you know, as it is. I think status quo is 120,000, really, not 140.
Okay. So what would you feel comfortable recommending to us?
I would recommend probably 130,000 just for the inflation, because I think they have
I
cost
mean,
of
they
living
have good
increases.
programs and stuff, but as a reminder, they are an outside agency, so, you know, it's at our discretion.
So that would take our contribution from 15 for the last 10 years, or last 2 years, to 20,000,
To
No,
To
another
30,
10.
another 10,000.
yeah.
But I mean, it's up to the board if you wanna leave it at the 120 and then, you know, project it out with them next year. I do think I'd like to circle back with them and say, you know, what are they projecting these increases to be, and what exactly
It's
is
additional
status quo?
staffing, I think,
Right.
is
Yeah, I
the
think
bulk
it's
of it.
additional staff. Well, the status quo, I think, is additional staff hours.
Uh-huh,
Then the 160 is actually adding staff.
yeah. What do you guys think?
I would circle back.
Yeah.
Circle back and find out. Status quo is not $40,000 more. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That was kind of surprised me, is that's.
Just like I said, the last, over 2 years, we've increased it 30,000. We did 15,000 in 21 and then 22, and so now
That's a big
coming
push.
23.
Yeah.
Okay, I can check with them. They said their expenses were 126,000 this year. I could just check with them and, you know, see what.
Yeah, why don't you get a little more detail? I know they give us that nice packet. It pretty much spells it out, actually. If I recall correctly, most of that is staffing.
And I can say what would actually be status quo if everything was the same, without adding hours, without adding
Yeah.
staff. Because the two analyses they gave us were adding hours and adding staff. So if everything
Bingo.
stayed the same, what would that look like?
Okay,
I can do that.
that sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, I'm all about supporting them, but, you know, it comes to a point, you know, we have to start pulling back the reins a little. Cause our slush fund is depleting. We have to have at least 10 million carryover.
Right, and plus it's, you know, if we went up to 140 or 160,000 in 2024, then what are they gonna
It's
continue
because-
to
No
anticipate?
We're starting to go on the,
No.
not being able to keep it up sustainably.
Yeah.
And because I think the last couple years that we did that 15, that was really kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, so
Mhm.
they just pushed it over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll circle back to us?
Yes, I'll bring that back next
Okay.
week probably.
Perfect. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right, I'll start my reading. Goodness. I'll make a motion the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of November 16th, 2023 journal entry from Judge Lori J. Pittman and Judge Becky L. Daugherty, court ordering $1,585,516 to be placed in the Common Pleas Courts Department 530 budget and Fund 0001, and $50,000 to be placed in Common Pleas Courts 530 budget and Fund 0002, and $162,268 to be placed in Common Pleas Courts budget and Funds 1012 Mediation Fund and 1027 IT Fund for fiscal year 2024.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
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 Okay, I'll make a motion the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the November 3rd, 2023 journal entry from Judge Patricia J. Smith, court ordering $3,143,691 to be placed into Juvenile Courts Department 570 budget and Fund 0001 for fiscal year 2024.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of November 7th, 2023 journal entry from Judge Patricia J. Smith, court ordering $1,631,661 to be placed in Probate Courts Fund 560 for fiscal year 2024.
Second.
I have a question. So we've got 2 common pleas judges going for 1.6. And then with juvie and the probate is 5 million? How much of an increase has that been over the last couple of years?
You have to look.
Yeah, I would have to look at the percentage increase. I could bring that. Bring it back to you.
I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Okay.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
In accordance with section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396 and this board's resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval to direct the auditor's office to pay process in November 16th, 2023 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then and nows as applicable, contingent upon the verification of the reports as represented by the county auditor and viewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to process the November 16th, 2023 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize grant application in the amount of $35,784.55 to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Watercraft Marine Patrol Assistant Grant Program for the Portage County Sheriff.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to amend Resolution 22-06668, adopted November 17th, 2022, to accept the grant award for fiscal year 2022 State Homeland Security Grant on behalf of the Portage County Emergency Management Agency for an addendum increase of $123,846.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept grant award in the amount of $95,000 from Ohio Emergency Management Agency's fiscal year 2023 State Homeland Security Grant Program on behalf of the Portage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 4018 Portage County Airport to Fund 0001 General Fund.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001 General Fund to Fund 6400 Portage County Airport.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 7201 General Administration to Fund 7233 WC Prospective Rating Plan 2024.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001 General Fund to Fund 4002 Multiple Purpose County Building Acquisition and Rehabilitation.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001 General Fund to Fund 1010 Computerization Clerk Muni Court.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Thank you, Jackie. Board of Elections, perfect timing.
Happy Thanksgiving, Miss Jackie.
Who is speaking for the Board of Elections? There she is.
Hi. We're just all getting signed in, sorry.
How are y'all today?
Good. How are you guys? Hey, good morning, Teresa.
Hello.
Who's speaking?
Terry will speak today.
All right.
So we're here regarding our budget. There are really only a couple of issues, because I'm making some assumptions. So we put in what we thought, based on what our board decided is the budget that we needed for 2024. And then there was another line in Munis I'm talking about, that was, some adjustments were made to what we put in, and then we, again, put in what our board had approved. So I'm using that as the assumption as far as what information the commissioners have. I think that there are really only a couple of issues, where the dollar amounts did not match what our board has approved. The primary one relates to full-time, staff. So we did get the, email from, Jackie about the 1.25%, that came out maybe a month or so ago. Our board in May, and was reaffirmed at a more recent board meeting, has asked us to ask for an 8% increase.
Versus the 1.25?
Correct. And the reason for that increase, well, there are a number of reasons, but the primary reason has to do with, our rate of pay is not keeping up with cost of living. Not even close. So in 2022, the cost of living increase was 5.9%. Our full-time staff received a 3% increase, which is a difference of 2.9, less than COLA. In 2023, COLA was 8.7%, and our full-time staff received a 5% increase, which is 3.7% less than COLA. So going into 2024, we're 6.6% less than COLA. Based on when these calculations were done, which would have been in May, the COLA anticipated for 2024 was somewhere between 2 and 3%. And that's why the board is at 8%. That would bring us closer to the COLA increases that have occurred since 2022 that our staff has not been able to keep up with, based on what's happened with the commissioners and our budget. I think it's also important to know that the increase in what our employees need to pay for health insurance has gone up 12% from 2023 till 2024. So 1.25 doesn't address that either. We have and I'm sure you hear this from other departments, but we have a very special staff. Our staff work tirelessly. In 2023, although we were only supposed to have 2 elections, we had 3, which you may or may not know means that most people were unable to take vacation because we have blackout days a month before the election and a month after the election. And with our May election, so April, May, June, and then we had our August election, July, August, September, and then we had our November election, October, November, December. So there were very limited times when people could take vacation, and they're just so dedicated. They work a lot of overtime because it's required. It's what we need to do in order to do our job so that elections in Portage County can be accurate and fair. And the overtime is not optional for them. They have to work. It's not like they can say, well, I'm not feeling it today. No, they have to come in and work because we have deadlines that are not set by our office. They're set by either statutorily or by the Secretary of State's office. And we're finding that the fact that our staff they get paid like $22 and change per hour is not necessarily competitive with what is being paid out in the marketplace. So if you couple, you know, the $22 an hour along with the forced overtime and no opportunity to take vacation and whatever, that's another reason for why the board and Faith and I feel that the 8% is not out of line. The other thing, did you have any questions about any of that?
No, go ahead, I'll wait till you're.
Okay. So I'm sort of moving on to another line, which from what we had put in May to what I put in November has, we're requesting an increase of approximately $52,000 is in our postage line. And that is because between May and now, we have received new General Assembly, Senate and congressional lines. So that means that everybody is now in a different, either the number is different or they're in a different district, and that means that we have to send every registered voter a postcard. So 108,000 times 42 or 43 cents is where the difference is.
And that's due to the redistricting?
Yeah.
Are they gonna fund any of that? I know they're funding a lot of stuff. They're not.
No, we do not anticipate getting any funding whatsoever for next year. The only funding we got this year, related to the August election, which we were able to use most of the $120,000 that they gave us. We only had to send back $7,000, which is pretty good. But yeah, we don't anticipate there being any grants whatsoever in 2024. And all of the changes when we look at our budget, we don't look at it based on what we did last year, because that's just not a fair comparison. We look at it in a 4-year cycle. Because you have to compare like presidentials, like election years with like election years. And so our needs are substantially more in presidential years, which is why there is such a difference. If you're interested, I have charts here which are a 4-year look back so you can see what we spent in 2020 and in 2016, because in coming up with it, especially the personnel hours, including the overtime and our election workers, I went through the salary, the hours that people worked in 2022 and in 2016 for each of our categories, and adjusted for any increases, which I think there was probably only one. Most of our temporary people only make $12 an hour. So that's how I got to the numbers. It wasn't, I was like,
Did you get to the numbers with the 8% increase?
So the 8% increase only relates to our full-time staff. It does not relate to our election workers. It doesn't relate to our poll workers. And it's not that those people don't deserve to make more money. Because they do. We just feel that our main priority or responsibility is to our full-time staff. That does not mean that in subsequent years we won't be asking for an increase for our poll workers. They haven't had an increase in 8 years.
Is that straight across the state or country?
So each county decides how much.
The 88, are we similar to the 88 other 87?
So it depends on where you're looking. So certainly the people in like Cuyahoga County, so our people get paid $130, it's probably $150 That includes training and then working. The people in Cleveland get paid $250 to $300 for election day. So that's a big difference, but we understand Cleveland is a
Yeah,
different
much
market.
bigger. Yeah, it's not apples to apples to
Yeah,
Portage.
so, because potentially this is something we'll be looking at next year, is to come to you for the poll workers, for additional.
So for the poll, I'll stick with the poll workers
Yeah.
right now. So there are at least 7 or 8 other counties that are similar to ours in size.
Yes, and we would
Do we,
reach out to
have we,
them.
besides Cuyahoga that you put in or put
Yeah.
Summit out of there?
Yeah.
So of those other 6 or 7 that are similar to ours, what's a similar pay?
So it's been a while since we looked at
Okay.
that, because we looked at it when we came to you for the commissioners for the increase 8 or 9 years ago. But we would certainly look at that probably for 2025, and we will reach out to them. And sometimes they get paid differently, in that they get paid by the hour, whereas ours is just a flat $130, and then they get paid $20 for coming to training, when they're all required. That's not something, they're all required to come to training. So we would certainly look at that probably for 2025, because we are getting people complaining. I mean, it's a very long day.
Yeah.
Christina, Sabrina, I'm sorry.
Oh,
can-
she stays up all night
she
anyway.
can,
We
you
don't
know, account for that it's a very long day
Yeah.
for many.
We all realize that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, not to interrupt you, Jerry, but I think going forward, we definitely need to look at the increase in the poll workers, because, you know, I work the polls every year except for when I run, and I know this past time, I know we had call-offs, I mean, and it's the older folks that have been lifetime loyal poll workers, they're like, this is just too much for them, so.
Right. Well, and so, I mean, we get a lot of questions about why we don't do like a half a day, like split up
Yeah.
the day. And so that's really not feasible for us for a number of reasons. One is that would mean that we would have to train double the number of people that we already train. And we do 3 to 4 weeks of training now. We would have to double that. So we would go from 32, 33 trainings to 66. That's a lot.
But what happens when you no longer can recruit enough poll workers?
So we're doing a number of things to increase the poll workers. So we have a program where we reach out to the high schools and to see if we can get high school students to work. And hopefully if they don't go away to college, then they would stay and be poll workers. So we have a number of people that way. We reach out to some of the fraternal organizations in the county, League of Women Voters. We are putting in like blurbs in various Chamber of Commerce newsletters and that sort of thing. Obviously, we reach out to our various parties on our central committees and ask them to either be a poll worker or refer a poll worker to us. As much as we would like to have half days, because the other problem, besides having to train twice as many people and having to recruit twice as many people, is that, let's say I have the morning shift and Faith has the afternoon shift and she doesn't show up. Not that she would, but let's say she doesn't
She
show
thought
up.
about it.
Right.
Way to go, Faith.
Right. Then we would have to find somebody. And so that becomes somewhat of a scheduling nightmare for us on election day when we have a lot of other things.
How many poll workers do you have?
So we train somewhere around 650 poll workers. Yeah. So if we were to double that, that's,
1,300.
yeah. That's a lot of people.
Dang.
No, but that's providing that everyone's gonna opt for a half a day. Like, I would still work a full day.
Sure.
I'm just saying, if it gets to the point where we can no longer recruit,
Yeah.
is that an option? Does any other county do that, or how's everyone else
No.
filling the
No.
void?
So they're doing some of the things that I mentioned as far as, you know, reaching out to their parties and reaching out to various professional organizations. So right now, the state of Ohio is providing continuing legal education credits for attorneys. So I send an email to, I get a list from the Portage County Bar Association. I send an email and say, this is an opportunity for you to get 4 CLE credit hours, which is really $300 to $400 value, and then we pay them. So the other 2 professional organizations, one is licensed real estate agents, as well as social workers. They can all earn continuing education credits. So we reach out to those those entities as well, so that we can be as attractive. And it's really, I think, rewarding. I think most of the people who work at the polls find it to be a rewarding experience.
And I bring in all kinds of goodies.
Yeah, right. So, but it is a concern. In fact, our board members we've been talking at several meetings about what can we do to show our appreciation. And we've talked about a number of different things, and what we did this past November election is the board members split up the polling locations, of which we have 52 or 50, actually 53 this time. And they all went to those polling locations to thank the workers.
Yeah, I think Randy Clyde showed up at ours in Rootstown.
Yeah, just so that they are aware that we really do appreciate, and we tell them all the time. It's just, you know, it's sometimes a difficult nut.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that went over really well at our site was Broomfield Lions always provides lunch that day for the poll workers.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric Schlombach got Rootstown's Lions, so they had pizza, salad. So then by the time, and people could eat in between, you know.
Yeah.
And then by the time their lunch came, it was like they weren't starved, because if you go at 11, then it's a long day before you eat again. Or if you go at, you know, at the, 11, 12, 1, 2, 2 o'clock, which I normally opt for, you know, it's a long day to wait. So that seemed to go over really well. We had salad and pizzas and stuff. So maybe talk to the precincts to see about getting someone to sponsor it or something.
Yeah. And we can certainly
Or
look into
organization.
that.
It was a big hit.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
And it really
and
helped the day go.
Don't you know
I guess.
everybody knows where those food places are, and so that's where all the poll workers want to work. And so, yeah, we can certainly look into that. Some of our facilities potentially won't be as amenable as Randolph and Rootstown, but we will.
And I think those things work if you live in Randolph in Brimfield or more urban areas. It's a little tough to find food in Palmyra Township or Paris Township because those organizations aren't there or they're very small. And
Get the League of Women Voters chip in.
yeah.
Get them
Well,
on the
and
way.
again,
They
we've
work.
been-
We have a huge group of.
I know, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
different organizations that might be supportive.
Right, and the goal is not only to get people to show our appreciation, but
Yeah.
to get the younger people more engaged.
Yeah.
So you can see how the system works.
Yeah.
Because I think that's very important. But I think it's important, I think one of the things that's caught up with this in staffing for full-time staff, we've had a couple people who have left again, the work-life balance because of the overtime. It's been very hard to find, it's caught up with us like it has everyone else these days with the labor force, caught up with us in finding qualified staff with our wages where they are, which I think is one of the reasons that our board have said we need to increase those, and I know it sounds significant, but we need to be competitive, we need to get qualified people. I don't think any of us need to tell you the microscope elections are under. You have a vested interest in making sure they're good, sound quality elections, and I know I'm here and I think Amanda's here to, just to let you know, the board is committed to making sure this staff gets the tools, the equipment, the staff and the people they need so we can function properly and maintain our reputation as a good, election system here in Portage County.
Did you guys participate in the wage study?
That was
No,
proper.
we did
We're all
not.
going to that direction.
Yeah, so we did not, and we did not for a number of reasons. So one of them was we reached out to other counties that had participated in the wage study, and did not get very favorable responses
Why is that?
from.
What was unfavorable about the wage study?
Well, first of all, something that potentially you don't know about our department is, everybody gets paid the same.
Right.
So all of our staff gets paid the same, you
Mhm.
know, all of our clerks get paid the same, Faith and I get paid the same. And that's for a number of reasons, primarily that way we don't have issues with so-and-so gets paid more than me, so I'm not gonna do what you're asking me to do. And we don't have any, because we have equal numbers of Democrats and Republicans in the office, we don't have to run into that, you're paying the Democrats more than you're paying the
That's cool.
Republicans.
That has nothing to do with the wage study. I
Well-
agree with, and Faith has explained that to me as well.
Yeah,
So that has nothing to do with the wage study, that nobody's looking at it DRR, they're looking at job. So in
Job
all
duties.
job duties, and
Yeah.
all the, sounds like all the job duties, whether you're Republican or Democrat,
see.
all stay exactly the same.
so no, they're not.
So why would we be paid the same?
Because that is a choice that the board made eons ago,
Yeah,
probably.
so that is, so if you tell me that everybody gets paid the same, but our duties are multiple difference
Yes,
in there, that kind of doesn't make any sense.
that may not make sense on the open marketplace, but that's what works in our office.
Okay, so then a wage study ought to be able to make sense as well, because you don't care if I do something different than Sabrina or different than Mike, everybody could be doing something different, but we're all getting the same. So wouldn't we look at it at an overall, basically what the jobs are?
So one of the things that we ran into, and Faith can chime in, when we were talking to the other counties that participated in a wage study, was not having an understanding regarding the job duties that we do have. It's not, it may sound like all we're doing is data input, but it's more than that. Because the data input that we do, or the programming that we do, or any work that we do has to be 100% correct. And so even though we're all human and we make mistakes, there's very little tolerance for
That's a real
errors.
company. I expect anybody that works at a company has that very low tolerance of making errors, right?
Well,
So
But
we're doing
it's
it
in
different
the-
because it's government bought
That may
process.
be true with respect to any industry, I understand that, but I think, again, I'm emphasizing the microscope elections are under, and I think that's, the tolerance level is even greater
Yeah.
than it would be at NASA at this point.
But,
Okay.
but you know
Amanda?
what? Oh, hold on.
Good,
But you know what? The liability is factored into the wage studies as to what the liability is for what kind of scrutiny they're under. That's all taken into place when they do the job factoring for the actual duties. They do take that into place, just so you know.
Or the bonus that was given that was not okay by the commissioners.
And, you know, I have a question, one more question, and then Amanda will go to you. Last year, you guys were closed for the last 2 weeks of the year. There was no one in your office.
There was 1 week.
1 week,
So,
And it was actually 4 days.
yeah.
yeah, because I had some, the only reason I knew is because someone called me because you guys were closed. And so, when you close the office like that, do people have to use their vacation time? Are you guys giving them admin time? Are they using, can they do comp time versus overtime? How was your staff paid for that?
So we don't have comp time.
Okay.
Because we would never be able to use it. So they were compensated they were not required to take, vacation or personal time, they were paid.
Okay, and it was 4 days, right?
Yeah,
Between
and that
Christmas
was
and New Year's.
at the direction of the board.
But again,
It's a
we're
sign.
all public servants. We could never shut our floor down
It's a
for
sign.
4 days, so. I'm just throwing that out there. So that's a perk that you've given, but, okay. Amanda, you had a question?
I had a couple comments. I just came out of, retired from the aerospace industry. And I look at the requirements of perfection that is expected at the Board of Election. And I compare that to my prior life in aerospace, because we have no tolerance when airplanes fall out of the sky. We are at that exact same level with elections. And so it is that check and double check. And so there is an extreme amount of scrutiny and pressure that these gals are under. And I didn't really appreciate it until I joined the board. The second thing that I want to call attention to is when Terry talks about overtime, when you look at the numbers, they're averaging about 15% overtime over the course of the year. And so it is not just 15%, every week. It is nothing, and then you're there just an extreme amount of time. So it goes from just kind of a calm day to sheer just pressure, panic, and you're not there for your families. So those are the things that I'd like you to consider, when we're talking about and looking at just trying to keep up with the cost of living for the gals. And we just were looking for a replacement on the Republican side. We were interviewing, and the candidates that applied, there were very, very few that met the scrutiny of what we would accept to call for an interview. And so it was surprising to me just kind of where we are with the people who were applying. So it looks really kind of tough to get good people.
Okay. I'll go back to one of the questions at the beginning. Other counties of our size, what is the rate of pay versus ours?
So it varies a lot. So one of the things that we are blessed to have here is overtime. Quite frankly, if we didn't have overtime, we'd all quit. Some of the counties don't pay overtime.
Okay.
They pay a salary.
So let's go to, everybody's the same. Everybody has to get this pay the same, no matter who's working down there. Everybody's
How
paid
many
exactly the
hours,
same.
how many years they've been there?
Correct. Everybody, Faith explained that to me when I first got here. So if the other counties they don't get overtime, what is the base pay, forget overtime, base pay of the counties of our size? How do we compare with the other 7 or 8 that are close to our size?
So I don't have the answer to that question.
I have
Faith.
not seen a
So-
study.
Because people don't share. We don't, like, if every once in a while, there's an email that comes out from our association wanting that information, and we don't participate. And many of the counties don't participate because they all have different.
So I would ask that and I get not participating in
Yeah.
that. So if you were to call the election officials of a county of our size
Sure.
as county official to county official, would they share that with you?
Some of them would.
I mean, that's
Well,
what.
it's easy to do though, Tony. The commissioners fund it. I can take the 6 or 7 counties like Greene, Fairfield. I can send that out in an email to CCAO, and they will get that for us. It's public record.
Yeah.
What we
Yeah.
fund them.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard.
Yeah, because when you say we only give, usually everybody gets 1.25% if they don't participate in the wage scale. That's straight across the board with everybody within the county that is under the commissioners. And then to say, hey, without any verification besides, hey, we think we need to pay everybody more, we want to give everybody an 8.25% increase.
8%.
I thought you said 8.25.
No.
8. Okay.
8%.
Error.
And that's entirely based on cost of living, because that's one of the things that our board is when we talk about budget, that's what we're looking at, or that's what they ask us to look at, is cost of living. Where are we in the cost of living, whatever, in the cost of living world? Are we
Yep.
keeping up with cost of living? So, I mean, we would certainly be willing to reach out to other counties.
I'd like to see where we are,
Okay.
especially when we use all the things that the importance of what you do, so that goes straight across the country, should be the importance
Sure.
of what y'all
Sure.
do. And then looking at, you can't look at Cuyahoga versus in Summit County.
Yeah, right.
So let's stick to this 6, 7, 8 of them that are very similar to ours
Like
with
Green.
the population, and find out what we're doing or how off base we all
Sure.
are.
Sure, we can certainly do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
One other thing that I need to mention, it doesn't have anything to do with this year's budget.
Okay.
But this is a capital, expenditure for 2025. So we purchased our election equipment in 2016.
Mhm.
2015 first implemented in 2016. It needs to be replaced.
So
We've heard that
that,
from
that
us.
special account you guys have
Mhm.
is supposed to be used for that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah,
and
there's-
I'm hearing there's gonna be money coming from the state for poll books. You can get a grant for poll books replacement. Are you aware of
Right.
that?
So yes, we are
Okay.
aware of that. We actually upgraded our poll books
Not that
maybe
long.
last
Couple
year.
years ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was here, you did.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so we don't feel we need to do an upgrade, but there will be money coming back to Portage County from what we did spend in whatever that was.
So to upgrade your equipment, what's the dollar sign of that?
So when we purchased the equipment in $2015,
Mhm.
it was
$1.5 million. We paid cash for it.
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
and I think part of that 1.5 million was for not for the equipment itself, but for all the bags and
Mhm.
all the other.
Yeah, it was like.
So
Yeah.
what is the dollar amount for the equipment that we need to replace, cause it's 8, 9 years old?
Yeah, it would be in that range.
1.5?
Yeah, 1.5 if not more. So the process is that we would send out an RFP probably in 2024. So we would like to implement in 2025. We're obviously not gonna implement new equipment in a presidential year, cause that's not the best way
Give
to
me
do
gray
it.
hair.
Right, it's there, it's just covered. Anyways, so we would do our RFP in late 2024, maybe mid 2024 to purchase in 2025.
If you were to purchase today,
Yeah.
is it, how much, is it going up 20%, 15%? Any idea that?
So I don't think there's a big markup, but the issue is that they're coming out with new federal,
Guidelines?
yes,
Yes.
guidelines that will start, I think they're gonna be implemented at the end of 2024, first part of 2025, and we don't wanna buy equipment that
Correct.
doesn't meet those new
Absolutely.
requirements. And so because they're having to do a bunch of R&D and testing and whatnot to meet those federal requirements, we don't know what the pricing
Okay.
is going to be, and neither
idea.
do they.
Okay.
What happens with the old ones?
So the last time we got new equipment, they bought back our old stuff. And potentially they will, if we go with the same company, cause we have to do an RFP and bring all of the companies in. If we go with the same company, potentially there's a buyback. We can't sell them or do anything with them on the open
Sure.
market, that's against the law.
So, Terry, so if you already have the poll books.
Yeah.
What other is the big equipment besides the scanners?
So yeah, so it would be the scanners.
That's where the expense is.
Yes, the scanners, the express votes, it would be the electionware system, what we use to program and tabulate the results. That's what we're talking about, we're not talking about the electronic poll books.
Have you heard if there'll be any funding or grants coming up for election equipment replacement or anything? If they're changing the guidelines, or is this another unfunded. We're changing it, so back on you, Commissioners.
I've not heard anything, I don't know.
No, in fact, it was quite a surprise the last time that they provided funds for voting equipment, because back
Yeah,
when
we got
HAVA
money
was
back,
passed,
right.
right, when HAVA was initially passed in 2004, the states made it pretty clear that it was gonna be a one-time because of HAVA and the federal funds, that there would be funding for voting equipment. When it happened because of HAVA Part 2, we were all shocked, but we were also all told emphatically by the legislature, this is your last time for voting equipment. Now there's new legislators, could that change? Potentially, but there is no talks of it at this time.
Let's
Cool.
see what I can find out.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be pushing that at the CCAO board.
Sure, sure, because, I mean, we purchased a little bit earlier than other counties because we, and I think you were on,
Yeah.
you were here when that happened. We had a catastrophic failure, we didn't have a choice. So, we don't want that to happen again, that was not fun. And so that's why I just wanna let you know that we're at.
But I just wanted you to know, even though it was catastrophic for you, I thought you guys did very well with the recovery of it. I know it was probably people who were in that election were not happy, but overall, I thought it went pretty smoothly compared to what it could have been.
Sure, thank you for
So,
that.
yeah.
Well, that is all I have.
Anything else?
Great.
Okay, great. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
You too.
Good to see you here, Nurse Nancy.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, where are we at now?
Miscellaneous, please.
Any public comment?
Miscellaneous.
Madam
Oh,
Clerk?
We're under public comment.
I forgot about that. Are there any public comment?
No? Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of November 20th, 2023 certificate of the county auditor that the annual appropriations for each fund does not exceed the amended official certificate of estimated resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 In accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 325.07, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Portage County Sheriff's transporting report for October 2023 as presented by the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Alright. So there's no public comment? None? Okay. Is there anything else to come before the board today?
Motion
No.
to adjourn.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Administrator,
everyone.
do you have anything that you'd like to? Okay.
Yay.
Roll call. Adjourn, second.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Have a great